This video will spoil all of the plot of Final Fantasy XIV and also contain flashing lights at times. Viewer discretion is advised. At solemn dawn, grim purpose shines, in gazes cast towards moonlit sky. Thus does our final curtain rise, your steps to guide what end betides. Greetings, travelers. It's been a while since I last desecrated the Final Fantasy XIV story. Try not to get too excited, although I will be doing things a little differently than the last several times. But you'll enjoy it anyways, right? It's been so long, what even happened in the plot up until this point from the last 3 expansions, version 2.0 and the non-existent version 1.0? It's easy. Gaius gave a speech, Haurchefant died, people are horny for M itself, and after our final showdown with Zenos, he was able to immediately get hard again, or something like that. I begin every new MSQ adventure with a lap around the waking sands to fuel my distaste of A Realm Reborn. I have rightfully been accused of being a Realm Reborn hater, and I can already feel the opposite opinioners ready to congratulate themselves for liking bad video games. But I hope you realize by now that I hate fun and love catgirls. We must first return to the Rising Stoners. Why are there a bunch of towers that we need to deal with? Because we needed a cliffhanger at the end of previous expansion. Does anyone even remember the name of the final boss? I think it was Lunar Titan or Solar Bahamut or something. I just remember Arnvald having a bad time, and Fedora the Explorer being helpful. Anyhow, we need to deactivate the mind control towers that are responsible for the rise of fascism, because brainwashing citizens with propaganda would be a little too real. Also, we can only deactivate them one at a time, so someone's gonna get screwed over for longer, and my moral compass is a roulette wheel, which is why it makes the most sense to not deal with the Towers of Power whatsoever, and instead go to Sharlayan. If only someone would see us off and cry at the same time. That's right, it's Cryo that has the secrets to get us in. Before we get on the boat, Thancred mentions that Louis Sois was on a boat one time too. Yeah, remember that whole Bahamut thing? Astinian and Alphino are having an anime moment about being embarrassed for using their first names with each other. How scandalous, but I assure you there will be no unprotected handholding in this game or in this video. Tataru mentions something about being left behind and worrying about us dying again, which if anyone's going to die at this point, it's going to be Y'shtola, and then she'll come back again. Come on, Tataru, it's just another Tuesday. We'll get this whole apocalypse sorted out by Thursday at the latest. Thank God, I always wanted to know where this place was on the map. We then crash this boat into a haunted island and do a dungeon. Oh god damn it, it's the sound of an A Realm Reborn goddess talking to me. I will temporarily ignore that to comment that I have seen more fashion crimes on this boat than in my glamour dresser. At least Grahatia is here to tell me to touch outside air or whatever the nautical equivalent of grass is. Alright, Heidelin, I haven't heard your voice in about 2 expansions, and the last time we heard from someone else that you're a primal and probably evil. At least based on my list of good and bad primals, if I were a betting man, I wouldn't put my faith in you. And don't think I forgot that your Blessing of Light was destroyed for most of Heavensward. You're gonna have some serious explaining to do, because I would trust Emmett over you at this point, because at least he was entertaining with his screen time.
Oh, child. It doesn't matter if you trust me. You already planned to save the universe, regardless. Also, I need to fulfill my promise that was from another age from a forgotten time. See you later, traveler.
But first we have to stop by customs. Oh, I love bureaucracy, and I hope that no one notices this papaya that I'm currently smuggling. In case you're wondering, the plan is to pretend to be students of the Baldessian and not the Scions of the Seventh Dawn who are here for diplomatic intervention. It's the perfect cover. Also, all the Archons are citizens of Sharlayan and can just walk in. See, the book has Wi-Fi. This is a very important detail. Alize and Alphino are then reminded that they were disowned by their kind and loving father, and they should probably avoid exacerbating the situation. So you're saying we shouldn't commit mass arson then? My profession? I'm the hero of Eorzea. That's not a job. It sure f***ing feels like one. How about you, Astinian? Cryo voice.
They are mercenaries hired by us.
Really? I had no idea we were getting paid. Finally, it's time to be an annoying tourist featuring the NPC rental system where you get a detailed tutorial every time you want to walk around and gain some flavor text. This might be a bit excessive and annoying, but we all know that if they didn't shove how it works in the player's face every single waking moment of every day, the average Final Fantasy XIV player would instead complain about the lack of clarity on the official forums. Sharlayan is a city about collecting Lamborghinis, having a single restaurant that doesn't suck ass, and selling stuff at a market. How insightful. At least it comes with a hotel that's not a hotel. So we're at the point in the story where half the player base needs to go one way or the other to help alleviate server congestion. Ah, the good old days. We could stay here and figure out what's going on with the Sharlayan Congress because they had a unanimous vote recently, and if Congress is in full agreement on something, you know the average citizen is getting fucked over. Or we could help with the fact that another lunar primal has spawned in Thavnair. Oh yeah, that's the name of the final boss from Shadowbringers, Lunar Garuda. In order to make this video biblically accurate to my Endwalker playthrough, which is the only correct way to play the game, we are going to be dealing with Congress first, because I fought enough primals at this point and not enough politicians. So with the correct story choice, we now have to read books. There is nothing useful in here, and they even made me read nothing but the truth. I am extremely upset at this moment. My life fucking sucks. But nothing in my life sucks as much as Grahatia, whose family grew up under Garlean rule and was forced to give him up to Sharlayan to try to get him away from the house of Darude Sandstorm that wanted to steal his elegant eye. Damn, not even the Grahatia fan club knew that piece of lore. Well, with all of that very exciting reading out of the way, I think it's time I updated my outfit to the completely canonical purple samurai that was very possible at this point in the plot. That way I can kill time before I have to appear on Kryle's game show about what happened in the final days, where I definitely got every single question right, and Ishtola showed up at the end to tell me that this was all a big waste of everyone's time. That's why we leave with Alize to experience some classism, where nobody wants to help us because we are poor. Thankfully, I can easily pass as a waiter due to my new canonical outfit, and we learn about a class of citizens called Gleamers that gather things for Congress. Trust me, they are not slaves. Also, why are you sending them all to their deaths? Alize also mentions that there is just a small little entire living library underground that has been very active recently and might have something important for us to find there. She helps us get there by walking at the perfect speed in between running and walking. Labyrinthos. It's like above ground, but it's underground. Getting here, we witness Kryle have an echo headache. Oh look, it's some gleaners. Jesus Christ, Alize, you can't just drop a hard R like that. It's pronounced Gleena. This unfortunate turn of events forces us to experience generic questing mechanics and attempt to coerce information out of this bunny boy who tells us nothing, but Kryle has another echo headache. That part is very important, which is why I mentioned it in this segment. We then try to take the elevator further down. Access denied. Fucking beautiful. In our anger at technology, we knock out a large bird, which then slowly drowns painfully in the water, which is of course helpful for learning that it appears that Sharlayan is preparing to migrate, and we can get further down by going through a dark and spooky cave instead of the elevator. Defeating Majima is necessary so that we can get a pretty mood flower that no one knows how it works or how it came into existence. I hope you're taking notes here because there will be a quiz about this at the end of the video, especially the part where Kryle is very interested in these flowers. So we turn into a forg, so that we can eavesdrop on the only plot important conversation in this part of the game, that Sharlayan was tasked with doing something very important in the past, and now that the apocalypse is near, they must act upon it. Also, we got that information because the bunny boy knew that we were only pretending to be a forg, and he got that little tidbit to slip out of the congressional worker for us. Street smart saved the day yet again. Our reward is watching Kryle get violently possessed by Heidelin in a show of force so that we can get an everlasting flower. And if we want to throw down, she'll be waiting for us in the deepest pit of the ethereal sea. Right. So it's off to jail because we were busy forming a conspiracy. I can't wait for trial by combat so I can finally kick Fortunalt's ass so hard he's gonna have to sit on his eyeball. Oh wait, fuck, that was Heavensward. God, I hate court. I don't even have a lawyer willing to represent me. Where's Phoenix Wright when I need him? We are gathered here today to accuse the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, not to be confused with the Sixth Dawn, of conspiring to get our students to play League of Legends. Audible gasp. I prefer Dota. We accuse the Forum of trying to stockpile for the apocalypse rather than trying to stop it. Nuh-uh. This is not how court works. These accusations are baseless. Baseless conjecture. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based.
Enough arguing. Admit it, we all used to play
League of Legends.
back in the day. We would all try to sneak a little game in while pretending to study. Banning it with no reason only made the students more curious to try it for themselves. So let's vote on it. They should be sent to the correctional facility. Looks like you're not going to go to prison.
So we didn't really make any meaningful progress, and this was mostly a waste of time. Hang on a second, I can recognize that guitar riff anywhere.
Mom?
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Well, aren't you a sweetheart? Also, I can confirm that they are all part of the bourgeoisie, and their previous high and mighty rich kid behavior does have an explanation. Alphino is now a culinary expert who uses sage, and Alize has a new outfit which indicates that she is still a red mage. With our Sharlayan adventure out of the way, it's time to go to Thavnair, where our boy Udianger tells us that he's been avoiding his deceased girlfriend's parents since patch 2.1. So we, as the boys, decided to take him on a 3-week bender on our trip to Thavnair. I know exactly what you're going to say. Chair isn't the Kenyan a woman though? She can't be part of the boys. To which I say, you do not need to be a man to be a part of the boys. Estinian is very disappointed at our weak stomachs and tries to buy us some medicine to help with all the hangovers. But he's also stupid when it comes to money, so we have to battle against the spirits of an old Toto rack and overwhelming nausea. With that alcohol binge behind us, we walk around this desolate trading post to determine that for some completely unknown reason that has nothing to do with the giant mind-controlling tower that spits out monsters, no one's trading at the docks anymore. And that's not going to stop me from helping this person to try to make some sales. You're so stupid that I've learned to do the exact opposite of whatever your sales approach is. With that minigame out of the way, we then have to save the same person immediately from Imperials who are brainwashed to learn about the tower that has entities in it that resemble the local gods. They are 3 sisters. Also, the leader of the main town of Razathan has made a deal with the dragon. I hope you're paying attention to that point. This could be on the quiz. We finally find our way to the alchemist village that was our destination, where everyone is just taking a nap and there is nothing to be concerned about whatsoever. And Varshan, assistant to the leader of Razathan, is very interested in Estinian, who's very interested in breakdancing and dragon scales. The scales are so cool that it wakes everybody up in the village who are also very interested in Estinian because he's mixed with dragon blood, which explains why he was able to stomach so much alcohol. And they also abduct him to do experiments. Godspeed, brother. So we agree to help them with their experiments to try to make a talisman to surpass Metal Gear and withstand the ethereal blast from the brainwashing tower. We do this by following around a lamp that blasts aether, but not too closely. I'm watching you. I'm evil. So we race Varshan to a place to do a useless fetch quest, and more importantly though, Udianger still feels down. I know you thought we went on that 3-week bender to cheer you up, Udianger. That was only a convenient half-truth. We did it to prove that you have the guts to stomach whatever the world throws at us, and move forward. Damn, Thancred, what an inspiration. With the talisman prototype done, we try it out and nothing bad happens. Except for finding a perfectly shaped hole that was made for Nadana. Oh god damn it, Fandaniel is giving us an Echo flashback where we find out that he used to be a mon? Ugh, of course, how could I be so stupid? It's always the Alligans. Wait a minute, that means that it's his fault that someone placed an ice cube too far into his hitbox and got me killed at least once? I have never wanted to kill a man this bad in my entire life. That's why I'm going to angrily leave this building and meet with the leader of Razathan instead. Which, just as Estinian was able to sense, is actually a dragon, the last of the direct descendants of Midgar Sormer, who conveniently doesn't pop out ever since Heavensward. Vitra here requests that we storm the Tower of Zot and free his people from oppression, and we agree to that, and then quickly teleport to Sharlayan to find the rest of our compatriots and then come back. Scored. Honestly, I thought that game would be a little bit better. Ishtola mentions something about a man's limb being inside the core of the tower, and Estinian ignores that and blows it up. This causes the whole tower to dissolve, but it's okay. Grahatia saved us with a last-minute levitation spell off-screen. Look, it wasn't in the budget to animate that because we're saving all that for later, trust me. And we saved the city after agreeing to untemper every single person off-screen as well. As a reward for our heroic actions, we get to keep the warding scales that were just invented so everyone in the Scions can protect themselves against tempering. It only took about 5 expansions to get to this point. Something about how Vitra managed to maintain peace through the Dragonsong War because he felt separate from it, and Midgar Sormer chose to land on this planet because he believed in Hydaelyn's dream. Also, Vitra likes us because Midgar Sormer likes us even though he's currently in a coma since Omega, but I never covered that part of the story in my videos, so instead, Midgar Sormer is hiding in our back pocket and is too shy to reveal themselves. While picking up a fresh batch of our sweet, portable blessings of light, Nadana shows up to let us know that she is okay. This feeling okay emotion spreads to her flower. This fulfills the conditional statement to get a bunch of world building dumped onto us, which essentially boils down to, in their alchemical studies, they believe in another form of energy instead of aether. This one is shaped by emotion, and they call it Akasha. Whenever we seem to go beyond our limits, that's actually Akasha that we have been channeling. I was channeling Nippon Steel this entire time, but that's basically the same thing. Anyhow, with a way to battle mind control towers, the most logical step for us to do is invade the Garlic Factory stronghold that requires some boring diplomatic work on the side. Which is why, while that's happening, we all decide to get takeout. Borgor. You'll never believe it, the Warrior of Light has destroyed a tower and they found a way to destroy all the remaining ones. I believe it. Also, if they are stupid enough, they will probably try to attack us directly next. They are stupid enough. You know, Zenos, you only ever get excited when talking about the Warrior of Light. Of course, for once you get to experience the pleasure of crossing swords with your only friend, once your blades are dull from repeated thrusting, then the ecstasy of pounding your fists is a close second. All of life becomes a gray, amalgamless struggle to recapture the climax when both go all out. You're talking about fighting, right? Typical beta behavior. Always so concerned about what actions and vocabulary is considered gay. I wish I could give a shit about such irrelevant platitudes, instead of focusing on reality. The reality that I will soon be reunited with my long-lost friend with battle benefits. While we're back in Sharlayan, we hunt down that one dude who defended us in court to thank him, where he makes it abundantly clear that there is a magic spell that prevents the Forum from revealing exactly what their sacred duty is. How does it work? It's quite simple really. Aether is made up of 3 different forms: soul, memory, and magic. You could essentially redact parts of people's memory with the correct ethereal ink, which is exactly what the Forum spell does. This was also witnessed on a large scale when Bahamut tried to destroy the Earth because nobody really remembers what happens. Except for me, of course, because I know that Louis Swa turned into the Phoenix and brought the whole world back to life. Enough time has passed for all of the politics to be considered finished up off screen. With that out of the way, we're going to assemble a team of elite soldiers to strike at the heart of Garlemald and provide medical aid to the country that is tearing itself apart, because honestly, we all just kind of feel bad at this point. Now is not really the time to be occupied with thoughts about decades of war atrocities when we do have bigger problems. And honestly, fair enough. Gaius isn't going to be joining us though, because he's still accused of killing the Emperor and being responsible for plunging the whole area into civil war. It's complicated, okay? Just remember that Zenos is the one who actually killed the Emperor. Alright, it's time to meet the crew. We got Lucia, that one person from Ishgard. Pussy Slayer 420. You're damn right I'm a godlike white mage. Sicard, Pirate Dude. Lise, the Goddess Hand. Emilienne, that one idiot who can dance. Serena, the leader of the pack. Sadu, kicker of ass. Of course we'd be here when there's shit to fuck up. Many cutscenes are going to play in succession. Already, the expansion just fucking started. No Garlic soldiers were killed when making this film. This is Thancred. I infiltrated the Garlic stronghold. Thancred, we need you to take out the fuel line. On it. Thancred, how do you intend to escape with balls that big? Balls shrink in the cold. This is Thancred. I'm done here. We must defend Sadu so that she can finally limit Break 3. You know, I never actually saw this animation. After liberating the Garlean forces that attacked us, we then set up camp and call it Camp Broken Glass because that's the sound that walking on ice makes. I don't think that's true. There's also a bunch of admin work that now has to be done, but we're tasked with trying to see if there are any untempered survivors nearby and provide assistance.
Female detected.
You are the absolute worst. We then stalk this poor woman in a mission where if you see cover, you move behind it. I am not an amateur. If the devs put a rock in the terrain to hide behind, would it be because we should just ignore it? We then give her a jump scare once she leads us back to her home. Why would these actions make her think that we're the bad guy? She threatens to blow the entire place up if we try anything suspicious, and this is foreshadowing that she's going to commit Sudoku. Also, she tells us that there was a huge scream before everyone was tempered, and she doesn't know how she survived. We decide to find firewood and treat frostbite from the survivors, and we learn that apparently the radio will occasionally turn on with Emperor Varus still talking, and they firmly believe that he faked his death and is still alive, which wouldn't be the weirdest thing that's happened in the plot. Also, we can hear a voice coming from inside the building, but I assure you that is nothing important, so we go to the nearby cerulean mine to get some supplies, where we find other refugees who aren't Garlemald born, but rather forced laborers, who were the mentors of the Garlic hierarchy. We get some juice and go back, where it turns out that the refugees ambushed Alphino and the two sisters ran away, including the one who was hiding in the building earlier. Why? Because they would sooner die than trust a savage. Despite our better judgment, we chase after the sisters, but only find them already dead. And this does bring up a good question. Are we really able to help these people? Or is all of this just making things worse? Despite the lack of tempering, these people are still very much dedicated to their old ways of life, and accepting our help would mean throwing away their entire belief system. It's really not as simple as a problem as you might think. If it's any consolation, we can at least bury them next to their home. With that grim knowledge in mind, there is an agreement to at least have the former garlic enjoyers in our group talk to the refugees instead to maybe make the tough reality pills a little bit easier to swallow. We have also learned from the recovered soldiers that the Civil War was further propagated by Fandaniel. I am absolutely shocked. And the radios, which still have Varus speaking through them, by pure coincidence, shield people nearby from primal tempering. This is how some people have stayed sane, while others not so much. In the meantime, a sane Garlean soldier was caught trying to steal from us, and we agreed to be a part of the 3-person convoy to try and negotiate because we are foreigners. You know, I'm starting to think some of these people might be corrupted beyond saving. Now we get to enter the last bastion of hope. Public transportation. Well, if it isn't the leader of the First Legion that served under Varus himself, Qantas. He immediately collars the twins because he will shock them if we act out of line, since the champion of Eorzea will not be easily impaired by a mere 20 billion bolt shock. You know, this guy's a little smarter than he looks. He does make some good points. Even if we were to try and ally against a common enemy now, after that's over, all the neighboring countries would immediately pounce at the opportunity to destroy Garlic once and for all. Talks of peace are empty. If we really wanted peace, we would have agreed to be ruled under the Garleans.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing?
Why do we try for peace so badly? Well, because even the biggest of adversaries can find common ground. Oh, you're the ones that stormed the Praetorium and killed all my friends. Nah, that wasn't me. There had to be at least 4 billion cat girls that stormed that place. So we scavenge for some more ceruleum. Oh look, a sightseeing log. And wade in some cold sewage to find what we need, and somehow standing next to a fire causes us not to freeze to death or get a serious infection. We also make very discreet contact with Thancred so that we can make a plan to escape. And the Garleans use the ceruleum not to heat their civilians and survive, but to power Magitech and mount an attack against our group. Well, they don't exactly say that, but it's not subtle. We also stop by Julius's house, where he tells us very bluntly and brutally that his family was tempered while he was called to fight, and so when he returned, he had to defend himself. If he had just fled like he promised them, maybe they'd still be around. Tell me, if Garlemald truly falls, what will be the point of all this bloodshed? What will anyone have been fighting for? We don't have an answer. At the same time, Alphino and Alize are having a heart-to-heart in prison. You know, isn't it strange that both the Forlum and Garlemald are set in their ways? Although, I guess based on all their history, maybe from their perspective, they've always been right. Are you having second thoughts? No? Well, me neither. So stop thinking so much and remember what we already resolved to do.
The prisoners are free. Tell them that the deal is off.
No deal! Stop! Just stop! Are you stupid? We have a message for you. The rest of your legions have all surrendered. They asked us to pass on this coded message. Sir? You're all relieved of duty. I guess we can't even keep our pride either. There's nothing left for old ghosts like us in this world anymore. Glad at least you weren't here to see it for yourself, Varus. 'Twas a grand and glorious dream we shared. As we finish up taking anyone in who's willing to accept aid, allow me to share some actual thoughts here. This is a fitting end to Garlemald. I'm glad that the story presents some hard questions that I'm not going to provide examples of. It's both stupid and depressing to witness their actions, but at the same time, you can kind of understand it. Tell Julius that there's a cure for tempering after he killed his tempered family? Of course he's going to reject the idea to keep himself sane. They mount a pathetic attack against us when we already know for a fact that if we did truly fight, we would just obliterate them. We're not even trying to kill them at this point. It is pitiable. But in the end, most just want to live. But there's also a lot more that's gonna have to be done to try to reunite people. At least we can all agree that everyone likes a nice warm meal on a cold day. It's a rock-solid conclusion to one of the longest-lasting conflicts of Final Fantasy XIV. Speaking of classic Final Fantasy XIV, I think we still have a primal to deal with. Or in our case, a problem of being teleported away by Fandaniel doing his best Joker impression. Ugh, God, it's my worst nightmare, spending quality time with Zenos. And I'm no longer playing as a cat girl. Jesus Christ, I'm at like 1/1000th% power. And what's this, some cheap wine too? This isn't how you treat a guest, especially with all that screaming in the other room. Oh, well, since you asked for a lore dump, imagine, if you will, that fervent prayer and aether are needed to summon a primal, but also some kind of focus. Usually it's people's gods that they worship, that they look to, but Garlemald has no religion. Instead, they look up to their leader for guidance. And you'll never believe who just died and is the perfect vessel. So, Tekenyan, we meet again. Having fun with your stupid re-clears? Of course not, for it is learning the fights the first time where all the fun is experienced. Doing it over and over and over again for drops is when the monotony and repetitiveness sets in, making you crave that sweet high you got the first time you cleared something hardcore. But you'll never experience it again, for it is that I too want. I see that you have no response. What is it that makes us tick? Is it our strength after years of training? Or is it something innate that cannot be learned? When I was forced to possess another, I learned many of my shortcomings in technique, a reliance on the raw strength of my body. Let's see if your body is the same. Oh no. Zenos is a cat girl now? God damn it, I might actually like this character. I've tried several times at this point and I don't have a good transition edit here, so instead, I'll just say, trans lives matter. If you died to this on release, honestly, get bodied. Oh hey, it's the Warrior of Light. Are you sure? Who are you? Just in time. Even with all the handicaps in the world, you still couldn't win, Zenos.
It's okay. I'm just gonna keep pissing you off every waking moment of every single day, so that you'll finally want to fight me again, and we can have our true final battle.
Also, all of this was just a big distraction because we're channeling all this aether to summon a really big primal and more likely release a really big primal, and that one's probably Zodiark. Goodbye. That was one insanely long side distraction. Time to destroy Anima and finally bring peace back to the land. So we stormed the tower, but with Sadu, which makes this pretty cool. And at the end of the dungeon, you'll never believe it, but we'll have to put an end to Anima.
Anima should have been a trial, Samurai should have been a tank, and Dark Knight should have been a DPS.
Ah yes, it's you people again. I disagree with all three of those things, and I wish you would just judge things based on what they are and not what color of paint they slap onto the DPS role type. In other words, Anima is a bit less grand than I would have liked, but it's still stylish for a dungeon boss.
Whoa, you're too late. I've already set this up to finally bring about the end of the world.
But first,
I gotta take a piss.
oh no, please, don't make a Snapcube reference. I'm sure this goes against copyright laws somewhere.
How do you like that, Obama?
Okay, that's not the line I expected, but it is a classic. Oh, holy shit, even Heidelin's here.
Alright, change of plans. We're gonna destroy the barrier on the moon ourselves.
Moon.
Looks like it's time for me to stop them. Alone. If I had a nickel for every time a moon was created to imprison a primal, I would have 2 nickels. Ah, shit, is that my old new best friend or new old best friend? Fuck, I forgot the line. A new old friend in the present better suits a hero that smiles. I remember when John Hithloshafont told me that one. This isn't actually that character, it's our new present friend, the Watcher, who needs help in repairing the barrier that was just broken. Also, Zodiark isn't complete yet after the 7 rejoinings in case you wanted to keep track of all these nerdy details. Why are there so many Zodiark simps around here? Also, a dog named Argo shows us the way, even though I can fly. Oh, thank God, we do get someone familiar. It's Hythlodeus. Oh wait, we never met the real one. We only ever met the fake one. Well, they still like us nonetheless because we share the soul of Azim, and we still have to take care of Zenos and company. Well, that barrier did a whole load of fucking nothing. I guess Zenos is gonna eat the primal and fight us. Unless Fandaniel merges with Zodiark and betrays Zenos. Wait, Hythlodeus is hot? Oh, we're fighting Zodiark. Right now. It's like the level 83 quest of the expansion. Okay, you know what, Mr. Yoshida-san? You got me. I did not see this coming. Let me just wait here while I sit through this DPS queue.
I'm not only stupid, I'm the real deal.
Fun fact, Soken undergoing chemotherapy was just a cover. He actually composed Endcaller and just straight burned the cancer out of his body. What a track.
I was stopped. But the truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Hey, Death looks pretty cool. So Zodiark is dead, and that was the thing that was preventing the whole final days from coming, but things look pretty good for now.
Your blade, it did not cut deep enough.
Oh, you're not gonna want to fight me anymore because you have bigger fish to fry. Well, guess I'll have to find a different way to piss you off even more. You know, I'll give him credit for being determined. With that arc over, it's time for a little downtime after all that gas. Thank God the Scions are here to say hello and learn about what the hell just happened. Lore recap. Zodiark was made because the apocalypse was happening. Although they didn't know the cause, the ancients knew that aether flow was necessary to prevent further destruction. Thus, the whole channeling darkness to make Zodiark thing. Hydaelyn was also created to seal away Zodiark as a stopgap so that the true cause could eventually be found. And so we were lied to about the whole destroying the darkness thing and whatnot, but I'm sure Hydaelyn has her reasons for not telling us anything directly. Look, we don't exactly know what to do yet, okay? Just say something. Also, even though the final days are here, this moon doubles as an ark in addition to a prison, and there's definitely some kind of space horror reference I could fit in here. Argos performed Shadow Clone no Jutsu to carry us across the chasm. The gates of hell look a lot different from what I remember, and also you can't pet Argos, 1 out of 10 game. So what exactly do the caretakers of the Ark look like? Super cute, understood. Blah blah, track down the leader who then tells us to meet them upstairs. I'm not too sure how you
Children.
who are
Dumb.
and
Unintelligent.
made it up here. I'm sure that your parents sent you here while they took care of business because you're so...
Helpless.
What? It's okay, I'll put it in terms that your
Underdeveloped.
brain can understand. Planet go bad, we fly away to planet that not bad. I don't know what your sources told you, but we're all adults. Wait, what? You mean this book that someone from your planet sent us is normal sized and not made for us at our convenience? People today are not as tall as the Watcher. We need to rebuild everything on this ship yesterday. Sending books of archived knowledge, hoarding up resources for the apocalypse, all being sent as part of a sacred duty to survive in the advent of an incoming apocalypse. Yeah, I have no idea who they could be in contact with. Maybe we'll find out later. Now we get to take a tour of the Ark and see if they have good living standards. The blue carrot you wish to sample is large and girthy and smells vaguely of mint. Are you sure that you want to sample this one? Yes. No, you don't. I will now sample the large, normal-looking carrot. I know highly addictive drugs when I try them. Your name is Cooking Way? Yeah, I know exactly what you're cooking. Alright, I want to try on some clothes that are going to appeal to my bloodlust. I get the feeling that you would give me this no matter what I said. Although, no samurai hat? Now that ain't right. Let me try something else. Now this is much better. Is everything to our liking? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with no. How can you not be happy? You got food, water, clothes, phencyclidine, and shelter. What else could you possibly need? I could think of a few things. We aren't exactly robots. Also, I know you're all about saving us here, but what will happen to all the reflections of the source when this one blows up? Better to save 1 star than fail at saving 14. So that means that the first is gonna die too? I'm putting that on my list of reasons to save the universe. Hey, I was gonna save the world anyways, but it doesn't hurt to have more motivators. Oh no, we've been teleported to the wrong place at the right time, and over here that Udianger is once again being asked to go behind everyone's back and do some reconnaissance, which he acknowledges is getting a little ridiculous at this point. It's also ridiculous that they think that I don't know all the oldest tricks in the book for stalking missions. I know you're following me, but it's okay. You eavesdropped on my conversation too. You're not as stealthy as you think. 'Tis yet another request to alone take the burden of someone's sacrifice, a burden I've doth hazeth too many times. Each time they were resolute in their decision, so I doubt I would have changed their mind. A part of me will always regret it though, that I didn't even try to stand up to their will and change course. Instead, I pushed them even further down that path. Tell me,
Tarkanian speed.
how do you make the correct choices when the answer is so unclear? There is no correct answer. So, I'm not the only one? Maybe it's better to just be curt with people and drop the pretenses. If we were just more open and honest with each other, we could avoid unnecessary sacrifice. Well, if the Scions need help candidly talking to the lower Brits, I know what I'm best suited for. Good. Now stop being so melodramatic, it's the comic relief part of the plot anyways, which is why we are now given tasks that are conveniently separating us from Udianger. Somewhere in there we do some sniping and hit someone with our balls. We get even more of the runaround, but they aren't fucking around anymore and try to maim us just enough so that we don't leave. Enough! We've already resolved to try and save the world no matter how small the chance may be. Now leave us alone. Thus we track down Udianger, who gives a speech about how Pudding Way is the best name. He also gives a bottle of gin to Living Way as a gift to represent all the good things on Aetheris, causing our mood flower to turn the color of alcoholism. Also, the flower is called Elpis, according to the Watcher, and Udianger decides to stay here on the moon to help prepare as a last resort in case the whole saving the world thing doesn't work out. Since we're no longer deceiving you, we should probably tell you who's helping us on the planet. It's the Sharlayan Forum. It's not subtle. Let's go home. Back from the teleporter, we play a little catch-up that pretty much boils down to everything has worked out in Garlemald. Most of the tempered have been cured off screen thanks to porksies made by Meteion, who also does not make an appearance on screen this expansion. Other than that, we're now on the way to let all the world leaders know that the end is near, and prepare for whatever the final days has in store for us. Also, the 10th Legion has denounced Zenos, and he has gone from being known as Zenos Yea Galvis to Zenos Nay Galvis. Back in Sharlayan again, I can confirm that nothing of note happens in this grand speech from the forum. That just confirms everything that we already knew. Although we do find out that Fortunalt is the leader of the whole Exodus thing, and that Sharlayan dug a pit into the ethereal sea in order to speak with Hydaelyn. The twins put 2 and 2 together that their father got very obsessed with his work after they were born, so in other words, he wanted them to be safe when the apocalypse happens. I'm still trying to figure out how disowning his children really fits into this plan, but I am sure there is a really good reason. There's a scene here where Alphino and Alize tell their father for like the 50th time that they're gonna stay and fight, but will also help evacuate people if that's what they want to do. I'm sure he's very proud of them. Well, that's enough in a day's work, only one god defeated, but I'm gonna go hit the hay. Damn, I wonder who that could be. Gomen. I just wanted to confirm that your soul is still intact. Need I remind you that you nearly exploded back in the first? You were exposed to just as much aether when you confronted Zodiark, if not more. But I'm glad to say you're alright. If you ever feel unwell, make sure you seek me for counsel. That is a threat. Now stay warm and get a good night's sleep. Well, it looks like you can't sleep either. I can say that our recent adventures have only solidified my convictions. Not that I haven't expressed gratitude to you a million times over, but it bears repeating. We've been through a lot together, you and I. When tomorrow comes, we'll have to rise to the occasion again. Never forget that you can rely on me. Another one? I bet you wanted a midnight snack, but too bad I didn't bring any. I know, but seriously, you have to remember to take care of yourself. No one is invincible, well, unless your tension meter is high enough, but you can't rely on that all the time. Look, when I told my father I promised to save the world, I wasn't making that promise to him. I was making it to you too. So you know I'm gonna stick with you to the very end, no matter what it is that's throwing at us. Ugh, thank God you're awake. Well, it looks like we're going up against the end of the world. If we fail, everything that we did on the first is gonna be for nothing. And honestly, I don't want to let Ryan down like that. Can you make me a promise? If my stubbornness gets in the way, make sure I don't ever stray from the path of fighting back. Sure, but knowing you, Thancred, I think you'd stubbornly fight to the end, if anything. Thanks for the chat. Let's keep it between us. Sorry to speak with you so late. This is probably the last peaceful night we're gonna get for a while, so, what I want to say is, you've been through a lot already, so if you ever need to share your burdens with someone, please talk to me. I know you can't carry everything alone, and that it's gonna be busy from tomorrow onward, but no, I'm always here. Once this is all over, and we succeed, all of this will just be fond memories, strange that it might be, and that doesn't even count the adventures that we're gonna go on after this. So rest up, I don't want to keep you awake forever. Wait, holy shit. John Heavensward? Oh, thank God you're awake. I snuck away from the twins while they were talking about stupid card games. I can't say I know too much about how all this shit works with the final days, but if there's one thing I learned after journeying with you for an entire expansion, you're true to your convictions to a fault. Never forget that you can always call on me when you need someone to get shit done. Also tell the twins I wasn't here. You know, if this expansion has taught me anything, the Scions don't have infinite faith in me. We get treated to a montage of people appearing to go Ultra Instinct, and that one bunny boy very deliberately says that things seem like they're about to get much worse. Oh look, someone spilled ink on Thavnair on the map. Is that all? Well, I know what we have to do next. People are turning into monsters that they have been deemed to be called blasphemies, and the sky is a little bit on fire. Our goal is to get in, help the people who are still there, and get out. Although Vitra might have some problems considering that these monsters used to be his people. So we defeated most of the monsters except for the endless surge that is clearly flying in the background. What does Ishtola's Aether site have to say about all of this?
There's nothing. No Aether left. It's just a void where a person used to be, and a small shred of what humanity they had.
Oh, so not only are they not able to be saved by the reverse tempering thing, they don't even get to pass on to the afterlife in the ethereal sea? Shit, that's pretty hardcore. The final days really don't fuck around. Aha Wen mentions that now is probably the time to reveal to everyone that their leader is actually a dragon, because trying to be clandestine going forward is basically impossible. To which Vitra just says, no, and flies away with Estinian. We do some investigating about who the big blasphemy used to be. Oh, it's Kazal. He was an alcoholic. Damn it! Anyhow, he's gone now. Although I am curious, what was his breaking point, considering he seemed to be doing pretty alright given all the circumstances? He just got a big order from that fabric place with a really interesting and memorable name. So we have to do some chores to get them to talk. Alright, tell me the info. In the attack, a monster burst through the door, causing a dude to panic and turn into a monster, and another, and so on. Yeah, get to the point. We also learned that they refused Kazal's offer in favor of another one, and after that, he was full of despair. So, with the threat alleviated for now, everyone within the city is safe, although people at Polka Stand are probably under attack, but just remember to not panic and everything's gonna be fine, so long as you don't get scared. Oh no, my first name is Anxious, I'm gonna die! That not panicking thing seems to really be working out.
Catboy therapy.
Thankfully, we are here to save the day. Wait, what? No. I can't accept that one, Miyazaki. You're telling me that I can haul ass and save the day in a body that's not even mine after tanking an explosion, but I'm too slow when the dude's like 20 feet away from me? I have speed in the name. While the city is tearing itself apart, we decide to leave to try and save those villagers without defenses. The villager has no pulse and appears to not be breathing. Okay, so how do we save them? So everyone is dead except for everyone who isn't, including the village elder, who tells us to chase after a couple who ran towards the temple to find safety. Why is it playing the happy music during this? Dragoon intermission.
But I'm a monster. If I reveal myself to my people, they will just panic.
Damn, I didn't realize that you were such a pussy. Either rise to the occasion, or let your people suffer. Speaking of which, we have company. We save a bunch of villagers and everyone is sad, but it's okay. Remember that most of life sucks and that there's only a few good moments. Oh god damn it, they're all Buddhists. Life is suffering. See? They're doing that thing again. What does science have to say instead? Life is suffering. See? Much better. You know, Matsuya, how are you able to stay calm?
The fish can smell fear.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So in order to fish properly, I recite the teachings in order to keep myself from panicking. It's much the same here, really.
Yeah. I'm gonna go chase after that monster, and this leads us to the other half of the married couple that we were looking for. Thankfully, we are here just in time to distract. Thank God I learned how to dive properly. Holy shit, they turned this into a fetch quest? Collecting a baby is not the most absurd thing they've ever made me do in this game. You know, I wasn't really feeling like helping the kid earlier, but now that she's an orphan, I'm motivated. Here you go, Matsuya. Hopefully the baby can't smell fear.
The fish can smell fear. Just keep swimming. Oh no, that's a fish. I can't keep her calm. I guess this is the end. Please, Mr. Dragon, you have to calm the baby down.
Dragon therapy.
See what's possible when you just stop being a pussy? And the day was saved yet again with not a single casualty whatsoever.
We lost countless souls to this calamity already. Life is never going to be the same. At least we managed to save some. Hey, I heard rumors that our leader made a pact with a dragon. I didn't expect him to be as kind and cool as you.
So, about that, I'm actually the leader. All those other leaders were just figureheads.
I knew it! When did you get here? It's not important, but you know, we always kind of suspected something like that. Glad to finally meet our real leader in person.
Wow, what a happy moment with no sadness whatsoever. Now that all of the weak have been culled, there will probably be a drop in transformations for the time being. Back at Razadhan, it's time for the dragon leadership reveal again, but this time to everyone, and he's still accepted. That was all easy enough, although with all the shit they've seen, this is just another Wednesday at this point. The forum is here to talk about evacuation, which means they just kind of strolled through all the hellfire out there like it was nothing. Nadana then explains to us that if these blasphemies are devoid of aether, then they must be drawing from another form of energy to survive. Hey, I'm snapping my fingers. It's likely Akasha, remember that flower? Yeah, I think it's safe to say that this energy is driven by emotion, and negative ones are not too good. There isn't much else to existing research on it, but maybe that can help you find some answers somewhere else. With some negotiations happening off screen, we can finally get down to business, which is helping out all the city-states off screen depending on what job type you are currently playing as. With that taken care of, I order the strongest drink known in existence while catching up with the people who I've been in contact with the entire time. Well, we got a bit of downtime, so what kind of leads do we have? Something about emotion, energy, and a dead flower that's named Elpis. The only people who would know anything at this point are the ancients, who are all dead, and Hydaelyn herself, I guess. Wait a minute, when I sealed away Elizabeth into a crystal, his soul should still be around. You can go back to the first and maybe ask him. The first really was the best part of the story, especially when I was cool. G'raha gives us the keys to the Crystal Tower in the first, and we are back in Shadowbringers. Hey, you're back in Shadowbringers. Hope everything is alright. G'raha says he's doing well. Good. Tell him to take it easy sometimes, even though he won't listen to you. Sure, but I need to get to the tower. Also, has anything weird happened around here? No, but Ryan did ask something similar. Maybe you can see what concerned her while I go get the key to the tower. That's why we get to wait around and hang out with some people. What boss did you struggle with most in Shadowbringers? Ah, yes, of course. We give this small kitten a good head pat, and of course there is nobody important that we are forgetting. Unless it's Feo-Ul.
Hey, that's what I've been waiting for.
Who we then ignore in favor of talking to Ryan. I had a dream that the world was ending. It is. Cool, thanks for the talk. Ah, the Crystal Tower in the first. Nothing more than memories at this point. Authorization complete. Welcome back, Master. What a weird sign-in message. Ah, here goes nothing. I'm a little bit and I'm a little sad boy. Wait, why am I here? Oh, it's you again. What do you need? Information about stopping the final days. Have you ever heard of the word Elpis? Ah, yes. Fandaniel's doing. I am under obligation of my role of the convocation to tell you that the original name of the soul of the seat of Fandaniel was Hermes. Also, Elpis, that's not a flower. It's a place where creatures were made and tested before being let out into the world. Not sure how I could even let you see it now. There's nothing there. Wait, no. I saw you there? In the past. That's not possible. But I can remember it. A little bit. A glimmer of something. I can send you back in time to that place. You'll be just a shade, though. Imperceivable to everybody. But I get the feeling that's what must be done. I know time travel must seem strange, but know this. No matter what actions you take, the past is already determined. You won't be able to change the future even if you try. However, you might find what you want. This will be my final act. What? It's okay. There's nothing left for me. Zodiark is gone, and all the souls of my friends are in the ethereal sea waiting for me. Go. Don't make me have second thoughts. With Elpis truly gone, Hydaelyn is the only one that remains today of a forgotten era. Oh hey, I'm a ghost. This is pretty neat. We can't exactly do anything. Wait a minute, I recognize that hair and that voice. Oh fuck yeah, it's our boy. The game is good again. Too bad I can't do anything. Don't you feel like there's a catgirl samurai watching us? I refuse to acknowledge this. Oh, come on. Don't you see this piece of Azum's soul staring right at us? All I know is where you find Azum, you find trouble. Oh, come on. Let's help them out. I'm not your slave. You do owe me. And just like that, we can do whatever we want again, although I'm still a min-height Makote. Ah, shit, we get to hang out with Hythlodaeus and Emmett Selk? And I don't have any paper to get their autographs? This is some pretty neat fan service. Oh, fuck. This is an entire game zone? Okay, I didn't see that one coming at all once again, Yoshi P. I'll give you another point. But you know what? I've never been this happy to be made a fool. Well, we better make ourselves some clothes to not stand out. Although even if we try to hide it, it's too obvious that we are very unusual. Just say that we're Azim's familiar if asked, because that's what they would have suggested first if they were here. Allow me to say that I will not be putting this outfit on because that's how I enjoy playing the game. As a Ronin that keeps to themselves mostly and has an alcohol addiction. The reason that we're here is so that we can search for Hermes by trying to find someone with short dark hair. Yeah, that really narrows it down. To be clear, we could just use magic, but Hythlodaeus is doing this for fun. Also, anywhere that isn't specifically this facility called Elpis, they have their hoods up and masks on because this is that one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where everyone gets turned into a blob. I wonder if this dude that has the name Hermes over his head is Hermes. If you don't have your HUD disabled for this quest, you cheated during your MSQ playthrough. Yes, absolutely. We are now friends for life. I don't remember you submitting paperwork for that. It's a passion project. And so we go save some poor creature from falling out of a tree. It's finally time for that super important conversation to be had between all the adults in the room. But I also have something important to say. Hermes says that we can stay and listen to this highly confidential and dangerous subject, which just boils down to the current seat of Fandaniel is stepping down because he has filled his self-imposed duty. A little side note here in case you forgot, there's a whole council of ancients called the Convocation, which is a really big and important thing, and they all get called by their titles and not by their real names, because Emmett Selk is actually named Hades, and Hermes is going to be the new Fandaniel to replace the old one. So with that confusion cleared up completely, this would mean that the current seat of Fandaniel is going to die and be replaced by Hermes, which he seems to be taking well. Hythlodaeus says that death is such a strong word and that they prefer fulfilling their purpose. This whole thing is kind of a drag, so we hang out with Meteion. By the way, she can communicate with people through emotions and also read others' emotions. So she's actually an empath. I'm sure she has a lot of built-in emotional capacity and can handle lots of complex subject matter, like how she ran away at the mention of death. Also, Hermes' favorite food is candied apples, which I don't really know why that's important. What is important is that Meteion cannot eat. Wait, what the fuck, Hermes? Why do you hate your own creations? There's definitely a point about how they cannot create souls, but it's kind of up to a philosophical standpoint on what's considered a living creature or not. Oh hey, it's that flower. Meteion and the flowers are both electrolytes. How cool. Just so you know, these flowers were invented in this place, which is why they're named after it. Lore time. There is another form of energy driven by emotion separate from aether. Wow, we've said that like 43 times in the plot already. Yeah, give me a flashback. I think I might have forgotten. We called it Akasha, but they call it Dynamis. That's it. That's the term, baby. He said it. It's Dynamis. You better remember it. You got aether and you got Dynamis. Emmett Selk is mad because he's never heard of this before. Its existence was only proven when these flowers were made. Not many people really know about it. Beings made up of plentiful aether that we are resistant to Dynamis, which is why we don't really notice its effects. Especially since the star that we are on is so plentiful with aether, it's named after it. That's why it's called Aetherus. However, Meteion was made to fly out into the great expanse, and so I needed her to rely on another form of energy purely out of necessity. Oh, so that's why her aether is so thin. You're thin too. Does that mean that we're both the same? I have been known to channel energy through sheer willpower. Now, I know exactly what you've been waiting to say the entire time you've been watching this video, and that's, well, Chair. I bet you think you're a real big idiot right now. Dynamis explains everything. They clearly had this all planned from the start. That's why Y'shtola can't see the stars, because they are made up of Dynamis and not aether. To which I say, they pulled all of this out of their ass for this expansion to explain everything away. Unlike your claim, though, I have a source. That's right. Yoshi P himself admitted that they did not come up with Dynamis when Shadowbringers was released in his interview with NGC. It's right there. You know what that means when I said they have no idea what Y'shtola can and can't see when they made that scene? that. I was right. I expect a 4,000-word apology essay from every person who tried to call me out for my bad analysis. My actual serious aside and analysis here is that Final Fantasy XIV's story up until this point hints at there being something deeper than just Aether to explain why the Warrior of Light can go beyond their normal limits. It's mostly implied to be willpower or potentially the Blessing of Light, but they clearly made the decision in Endwalker to just wrap all of this up into Dynamis as a catch-all explanation for any other form of energy. For example, the energy that Nero was detecting during the Crystal Tower raids. Hint, hint, there might be something important about the Morse code when he threw his device away. These are all just loose ends that were up to interpretation until they settled on explaining it with Dynamis, which does work as a plot explanation for the conclusion to this whole main story. I just want to say that it's not a sign of bad writing. It's clear that they made space earlier in the plot for something like Dynamis to exist. It doesn't have to be some master plan from the very first word of the story for it to still be well written. Y'shtola's eyesight is just a minor possible plot hole that doesn't matter in the grand scheme if you like it or not. I just like to harp on it because it's clearly something that's an in-the-moment decision for if it matters or not. Alright, serious analysis over. Back to ship posting. Wow, there's a creature that could normally fly, but now it can't because it's blue! So it's time to commit
Genocide.
Whoa, let me try to get it to fly. It might have just failed once. Jesus, have you never failed at something the first time that you tried it? So Hermes transforms to try and fly with the creature to help it out, which is apparently a big taboo in the world of the ancients. Yeah, thanks for that extra little bit of lore. I am sure this is very important and couldn't have been relegated to a text description of a bush or something. It just really needed to be part of the main story. It's because we need to know they can shapeshift for later because it's not happening right now. Oh, thank God. Imagine if they shapeshifted out of nowhere. I might have shat my pants. So instead we go and pester Emmett Selk to help instead. Yeah, just gotta be a little persistent and he'll eventually give in. Are you really gonna say no to Meteion? Are you some kind of monster? Fine, I'll help. Now we just sit back and watch this happen. You know, I was originally nominated for the seat of Emmett Selk because my Aether sight is even better than his. But I can't really do anything else. I'm terrible at Aether manipulation. On the other hand, he can do anything. I don't know a single person who's a better mage. After I vouched for him, tons of other people from around the world vouched for his ability to problem solve, to which he claims he's never done a good deed. But look at him, he's just a big tsundere, helpful to a fault. I'm sure everything will be fine with our creature with him at their side. So we wait around again until another thing goes wrong. In this case, a creature murders another one out of nowhere for no reason. So it's time to investigate. Ah, fuck, they don't put their names above their heads this time. How will I ever know who I'm supposed to look for? We found out that those creatures all suck. Important note that Hermes made a system called Kairos that can manipulate creatures' memories so that they can try to fix something without having to recreate them from scratch. Now that detail is going to be important. So we go pick some flowers to give to Hermes because he's going to be real sad after this meeting about killing off some creatures. Also, Hermes likes and dislikes these flowers because they darken with sadness sometimes when he picks them up, which doesn't happen to anybody else on Elpis. We give some negative emotions over to Meteion so that Hermes can understand that he's not alone in being sad sometimes. Hey, wait a minute, those are purple. Anyhow, Hermes, you see, I can get sad too sometimes, especially since the next volume of Necopara is going to be the last one. Let's talk for a bit. It's not wrong to live in order to better this star. Yet, I can't help but feel doubt at times. Remember earlier when Hythlodaeus mentions that we get to choose when we die? That same privilege is not extended to all the other creatures. There's no beauty in killing off our creations, nothing but pain, suffering, agony, and yet nobody cares. They just do it as part of their duty without a second thought. It doesn't even affect them with all this death. Maybe I'm crazy for letting it get to me. At least I know I'm not alone in being sad sometimes. So, I want to explore the stars. What gives other civilizations a reason to live? We live here to better the star, but clearly, other places out there have to do something else. That's why I made a bunch of Meteions to explore other stars and maybe find some other answers. Maybe you have a different answer. It's Necopara merchandise. What a stupid fucking question. So Meteion looks like she just heard something and we finally call it a night. We take care of those things that need killing because it got out of hand. Hermes seems to be emotionally stable after this. Join the convocation. It's clear that this place is way too much of a strain on you. And what? Kill my predecessor? Taking the seat of Fandaniel signs his death certificate. Is that right? And what else? Pursue the betterment of the star? What happens when we deem it perfect? We all die peacefully and beautifully? I don't know the answer, but at least give me some time to collect my thoughts. See, he's perfectly fine. Time to go explore the rest of Elpis with the boys. Hey, it's that mid-boss from that one dungeon. Land Shark. Why would anybody want that?
Oh, no.
Never mind, I understand completely. Oh look, it just wants to say hi. I didn't do that. Oh shit, I'd recognize that white coat anywhere. It's Heidelin? Okay, she's not a primal yet. Venat? I know we said people die after they retire from the convocation and all of that, but that's not true for everyone. Venat is still doing as she pleases after retiring from the seat of Azim, not to be confused with the current Azim that your soul resembles. Oh hey, are you perhaps from the future? Nani? I only say that because I sense my magic cast upon you, despite not doing so in the past. That means I had to do it in the future. Will you tell me later?
No matter what actions you take, the past is already determined.
Fine, I'll tell you everything-ish. I'll leave out the part where we went on a 3-week bender. I figured you had a secret, but not on this scale. You're going to tell me everything. That's why we go to a place to get a little bit more comfortable. Bullshit! I find it hard to believe too, but I wonder if there really is such a future. I, as Heidelin, would surely have a good reason to send you here, but you didn't specify a time. Unless I knew that our paths would cross no matter what. What we know for sure is that you are from the future, and the final days in your time will bring untold destruction. Are you really listening to this? I don't believe any of it, not for a second. I would never turn into a megalomaniac like you describe, let alone bring my own downfall. I would also never betray my people. So I say it again. Bullshit!
Well, have you learned anything?
Dynamis, Hermes, Meteion. They're all somehow pieces to the puzzle, but I don't know how it all fits together.
Well, I'll help you try to piece it together.
He'll be back, if he's the man I think he is. So we do some more poking around, specifically if anyone knows more about Hermes, since he appears to turn into the madman that we know in the future. Though digging doesn't really help us in any meaningful way whatsoever, other than learning that Hermes and Meteion do not seem like a threat in any capacity. If anything, it would be the opposite. We get a lead to talk to someone who saw all the Meteions together being released into the Great Expanse, but we talk to Venat while waiting, who's curious about the world that we come from. Oh, you want to know a summary? Well, you'll never believe it. A dude gave a speech in a robot, Harshafant died, I'm horny for Emmett Selk, and we have a dude chasing us around that sucked us off or something like that. I can't really remember. What a great world and story. Yeah, thanks. You can always check out my YouTube channel. There's always more to explore, more mysteries to find and solve. It was when I realized that the likelihood of existing in the first place is so unlikely that the world seems so tangible. Nothing was out of my reach. I wanted to see everything for myself. After my journey, I can say that the world is nothing but beautiful. There's always so much more to do, more people to help, and while I know that there is more I can do, I will keep going, until I know that mankind can walk on their own. So answer me this. Have you had a good time so far? You know, now that we get interrupted, we get to learn about Meteion's flight, which sounds like quite the spectacle. It does give us a small tidbit to go on that Hermes has a particular location he likes to hang out in to get his best work done. Maybe we're not so different. Maybe we can find some answers there. Too bad we can't fly. Okay, that's a lie because I'm on New Game Plus, but you know what? I'll hang out with Argos, who doesn't actually like us because Argos doesn't like strangers. Okay, that's pretty funny. That's why this was easy to do in the future. This is all just an excuse to fight Venat, which didn't really need a perfect reason other than she wanted to test our resolve. This solo instance always feels calm to me. Probably because Flow Together is just a nice track. Venat has some moves that show off her different weapons, which will probably be referenced later. All ending with us getting the shit kicked out of us and proving that we know how to press invuln. Somehow this works to get Argos to like us, so now we can get to where we want to go. What a scenic view. Also, we're going to try to look into the past while we are already in the past. It's not like we have anything to lose. Ah, so this is what it's like to launch a bunch of Meteions. The goal of the project is to find out what other people live for. I already know my answer. We find out that Meteion's mission will be finishing up around the same time as she's going to age up. Hermes plans to gift her a flower when this happens. In conclusion, Hermes still doesn't seem like the person who would want to bring about the final days. Venat thinks it would be best to tell Hermes about the future as well, because it would make sense that we should all work together to try to avoid the final days. Perhaps the fan Daniel that we want isn't the one that we've been talking to this whole time. That's why we're going to perform some extensive invasive reconnaissance in his big fancy lab just to be sure. Yo, it's Emmett back after sulking. Whatever caused the final days doesn't seem to be anything obvious at all. Hermes has no wish to end the world from my investigation, and the 14 would not tolerate it to begin with. Just to be clear, I'm only doing this because it's my job to examine all threats, by the way, not because I'm doing it for you or anything. Although we've all come to the same conclusion. There's no reason to keep Hermes in the dark about all of this. But first we're gonna have to go kill some Morvals. Why the fuck did they invent these? Well, it's time to tell Hermes about the whole killing the entire universe thing. Hermes is now a sad boy. We aren't here to accuse him of anything though, we just need to figure out how Dynamis could be responsible for the final days. Well, both final days could be caused by Dynamis. Since we are made of so much aether, we are completely resistant to its effects. That's why it wouldn't affect us ourselves, but our creation magic instead. That only explains the mechanism, not the cause for the final days though. Dynamis is power, guided by emotion. There has to be a source of ill intent, a literal supervillain to get it to flow. In other words, in our time, there has to be someone out there in the universe that we don't know who wants to destroy our star in particular.
Making contact with alien life form, putting them through now.
Oh fuck, she's listening to Nickelback. Come on, stop. She disappeared. Find her. Oh god, look, she's listening to Evanescence now. She really doesn't want Hermes to know about all the sad songs. Alright, Meteion, let's listen to the report on other intelligent civilizations and their answer to the question for what they live for. Yeah, I already know none of them are going to be saying Nekopara. Fuck, she's gone again. We need to find her and figure out what she heard. Oh, come on, I don't think it's that serious. Maybe she's just going through a depressive episode for the last of her life. Amidst all the chaos of tracking down Meteion, we managed to fit in a date with M itself. We find Meteion hiding behind some rock, and then she claims that her report is going to break Hermes' heart so he can't be allowed to hear it. And I swear to God, after all this chasing, this better be the saddest status update I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, Meteion, it looks like it's a Mexican standoff.
Please, protect them.
Connection with network established. Report. All units arrived at destination to answer Hermes' question. Planet 1. No life, only ruined buildings. Planet 2. More ruins. Planet 3. Cities with no life. Planet 4. No life found, only fidget spinners.
What's going on?
Planet 8. In perpetual war. Contact made, life ended soon after.
What the hell did you have her ask?
No signs of intelligence.
What do people live for? Then what did you expect if she found no living creatures, or none who even wanted to live in the first place? Oh my god, she's listening to Psychosocial now. We shouldn't turn away from the answer just because it's painful. I promised that we would not dismiss them as nothing. Time to run. Oh shit, oh god, he can transform. This is so surprising and unexpected. My bowels are going to evacuate. Oh thank god, they said something about this earlier. Hermes really insists on hearing out Meteion's report, so we have to hunt him down. He has retreated into Gposes. Oh yeah, that place we were going to investigate. There's a lot of talk going on about what kind of classes the crew can be. Oh, so what you're saying is, we get to play with the Ancients for this dungeon in the trust system? That's pretty fucking awesome. Wait a minute. That's arrow 3 being casted right there. Now I'm fucking pissed. Checkmate, Hermes. We're gonna be putting Meteion into jail for being too hardcore.
I couldn't listen to the report in full. Was there a single star out there that was happy? Any that had a reason for living?
We analyzed every nation.
No matter what they did, no matter what course they took,
All ended in destruction.
in despair.
And other words that start with D.
And so,
We have concluded that you cannot be free from despair and
Anguish.
they want nothing more than
Oblivion.
Great, now she's reading Hamlet.
so,
we will go to the edge of the world and sing the song of despair and give the people the gift of
nothingness.
Bullshit, nobody gets to decide our fate. Are you mad? She's going to destroy all of existence. We discarded creations that are flawed, and if we are so flawed, should we not be discarded as well? That's just semantics. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. As authority of all life in Elpis, I issue this decree. If mankind is truly resilient, they will find a way to live through finality and have a reason to live. Zafkiel, memory alteration. Make it so that nothing happened here and we forget all about it to everyone in this building, specifically that we are currently in. This explains that whole forgetting all about the time travel thing quite nicely.
Go to the edge, Meteion, and sing your song. I, too, will join the fight against the end. You really thought these chains would work? Could always be worse, I suppose. Now get out of here. Remember what happened. That way we have a chance of beating this in the future. You might be fast, but you can't run. We will find you someday.
Well, out of time. I'm gonna find a way to break you out. Hermes, look behind you. There's a mechanic. Distraction complete. You're never gonna believe it. We've actually done stupider things. I guess every Asm has to act with reckless abandon. Go. I still refuse your tale, but I also wouldn't choose to walk the path that you've described to us. Whatever happens, don't squander the legacy I leave for you. No, Emmett, please save me from villains I don't like as much.
Well, that was a thing. Are we really the only ones left who know the truth? I know where she is, although it's not exactly easy to pinpoint given how far away she is. Not all hope is lost, though. This is our last chance. We're gonna have to assess what happened in Gposes, or at least what they think happened after the whole memory alteration thing. We won't be able to be direct, so let's see what happened discreetly. Basically, the whole thing exploded and everyone's memories were altered in the exact way that we were shown. It goes a little bit further though, where Hythlodeus and Emmett Selk don't remember us at all specifically. Now, do we all remember how memory alteration works? This was explained earlier in the plot. We're gonna have to have another little quiz time. Yes, you can still get the memories back, although it's not exactly clear how. The spell is most certainly not permanent. Wow, would you look at that? It's time for us to go back to our time. Vanat's gonna do what she can to help in her time. The final days are going to hit the past, so there is a lot that has to be done, none of which is going to be straightforward. The convocation won't be able to help Vanat, so we'll have to go rogue. But in the end, we will prove Hermes wrong. That mankind can survive, that we can overcome unending despair. Although with memories being altered, you might not trust her in the future, but do not fear, as we will always work together. When mankind overcomes despair, when they can finally put an end to Meteion's song. That's a promise.
Goodbye, Vanat, and good luck in your mission. Oh hey, it's that shiny transition again. What exactly happened after we left, though? Oh yeah, the final days. I remember the day the sky fell, the day where mankind sacrificed half of itself to summon Zodiark, to protect the world in a barrier of aether. And yet, despair only grew. People yearned for the peaceful days of old, to find comfort in the past. You can't eliminate despair. It will always exist. We have to learn to live with it. Sacrificing ourselves to restore the past isn't wisdom, it's weakness.
The soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter.
I've seen those who've been the light in the darkness, my reason to live. If mankind will use its wings to try to bring back the heavens, then they will be forced to crawl.
Now open your eyes while our plight is repeated. Still deaf to our cries.
Life is pain and suffering. I've given us an existence of plagues and misery, all of fleeting existence walking towards nothing. Why do we live? Why do we die? To find a reason knowing that it's all final. To find the strength to keep going where there is no strength. To find, despite the unending darkness, the light.
For our future is taken.
We already know our answer. Well, back to Sharlayan. Oh yeah, the final days are still happening, and the Scions are doing their best to try and save people. The Forum has been making a ship to fly people to the moon this whole time. Vitra urged people to evacuate if they so pleased, but we also told the Forum about that whole teleporter thing in Garlemald, so they went there to try to evacuate some people instead. But the final days kind of showed up there next. Well, that's a pretty big inconvenience, so we have to go bail them out. It's just another Thursday. Oh yeah, a healer solo instance, my favorite. Garlemald's here to help? I never thought I'd see the day. Hey wait, that's my line. It's time to return the favor. Also time to play as Alize. Oh wait, I can just limit break. Nothing like helping people out to feel better about yourself. Just gotta heal them up real quick. Holy shit, it's the trailer for Endwalker. Alright, calm down, Grahatia. It's not the end of the world. You know what they say, get the fuck up. The Warrior of Light can't do everything. Also, we're here to do everything. Don't forget leg day. F you. And once again, everyone is saved. Not a single person died. Please ignore the sad music that is playing. Seems this whole migration thing is progressing about as well as it can't. Just give them a nice little pep talk though, that'll work. What? That worked? Fine, whatever. Guess we can talk to Fortunalt. I saw someone being chased by a similar monster earlier. Oh, you've gotta be fucking kidding me. Hey Zenos, long time no see. I guess it is about time. It's like 5 in the afternoon. Why are you even here? Killing some cool new beasts. Not that exciting though. Are you really here just to fight the
Tacanian speed?
Yeah, pretty much. Although it still seems like you're not motivated to fight me. Man, fuck you. Garlemald's gone and all you can think about is playing Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R with
Tacanian speed?
This is all your fault too. Do I look like I care? Please relax. You'll either transform into a beast or you're just gonna get your shit kicked in. Would it be better if I had good reason? What? Would it really change anything? Would you not be pissed at me if I had some more convenient motivation? Surely you understand that by now. You've been screwed over repeatedly in the name of justice. At least I'm honest in my motivation. Ask anyone in the universe and their reason will be whatever suits their needs. Think your purpose is to slay me? Well, go ahead. Become another tally on the kill count. Get out of my sight. Oh hey Zenos, if all you do is look out for yourself, other people are never gonna help you out, you know. You won't even get the battle that you want. Have you ever considered that? So, who wants a ride back to Sharlayan? Yeah, sure, let's go. That Alphino sure is a cool kid. Honestly speaking, I think it's just better to move on at this point with garlic seasoning. It's the end of the fucking world. But Julius wants to stay and defend his homeland like he promised, which is also fitting. Alphino convinces Fortunalt to tell us the details of their plan exactly, but he's gonna have to get the forum together first to divulge some of these details. This gives us some time to catch up with everybody off screen on the little detail about how we know how to save the entire fucking planet. Hey, wait a minute. I recognize that Lord Prit. It's Puddingway. And you thought I was just making a joke about that being the most important name. Thank God Udianger is back. It would have been so fucking lame if he wasn't here at the end of the story. He is not cold, just excited. They are all here to help assist and meet the forum for the first time. Also, someone please get Puddingway some pudding. It's simple, really. We killed the Meteion. Although we don't know where she is. But we know who knows where she is. Where's that broad Heidelin when you need her? Although the last time we checked in with her, she wanted us to flee from the star, but come on. You're really gonna tell me that Venat is going to give up? We're gonna have to go and talk to her herself, in the ethereal sea. Eventually. But first we're gonna need to get permission from the forum. Yeah, blah blah, evacuate to the moon. They couldn't save everybody, so they did have to decide which people were going to die. Pretty intense. The Ark is functional, but it wouldn't be fast enough to make all the trips back and forth that they want to, which is why they need to try and make it more efficient. Although, we know a few people who know a thing or two about technology. If the forum wants our help though, they're going to have to agree to first, let us speak to Heidelin, and second, we'll have to be able to use the Ark for something we want as well. Pfft, you didn't even know about this problem until now and you think you can just fix it? I'll give you this, I just want to see where this goes. Voting time. I actually can't believe they agreed to those terms and conditions based on nothing. Although we do have to solve the whole Aether Burner problem to get our demands, so maybe it makes sense. We go deeper into Labyrinthos because the Ark is there, saw that one coming. Also, this whole creating an environment underground thing was done because they foresaw having to settle on a barren wasteland of a planet in the future. I'll just blatantly ignore the dramatic family tension that's clearly going on. That Aether Burner thing seems to be going rather swimmingly, but don't worry, the Scions of the 7th Dawn are here to help. Basically, it's close, but it needs to be 6% more efficient, which might not sound like a lot, but it's fully maximized as far as they could make it. If only they had some elegant, refined adamantite. Did someone say elegant technology? You know where to get some? That's all we need, baby. In summary, pieces of Dalamud, you know, that moon that fell, have the stuff that we need. But it's kind of hard to track down. Hey, wait a minute, we were there in one of those shards. We might actually have some idea of where to find it, but we don't exactly have enough bodies. Hey, Thancred, do you still have that link shell? What are you calling? Everyone. Of course, got it. We'll look into it. Yeah, just give us a drink for all the work. We have a mission now. It's time to remember that we must all work together. Godspeed, baby. We only sent in the healers. We need more firepower. Say no more. I know this jungle well because I was here in A Realm Reborn. Oh, hey, look, it's the only person who ever died in Final Fantasy XIV. Wait, why have we not called in Sid? What the fuck? Just do some fetch quests instead. Fine. Hey, it's that thing from Elpis. Water is important to survival. You know, I feel like all this is a big fucking waste of time. Yeah, just run around with the rabbits for a little while. Eat some food. At least Cooking Way seems happy. Are we good here? Hey game, don't try to make me feel bad. This was a pretty nice piece of downtime on my first playthrough, but I really don't care right now. Instead, I'm gonna go mope around with this random guy who I've never met before in my entire life. Maybe this whole project is going to explode in flames. Oh, I can see your problem. It's because your first name is Troubled. Oh my god, it's another time killer? Fuck. Even with flying, this is so annoying. At least this is a nice little cutscene where everyone trades information to try and release some stress. Woody Anger really did answer all the rabbit's silly questions on the moon. Yeah, he would do something like that. Oh no, wait, hang on. We can't go on another 3-week bender. We don't have the time. Woody Anger, you better be ready. Really? Sending that stupid letter and running away? Do you have any idea how worried we were? I'm sorry. I never saw Mombrita happier than when she was given the call. She made her choices, and she also would have wanted you to celebrate her life. We're just mad that we couldn't grieve with you. Yeah, I'm not gonna act this scene out any further. It is really nice. I might not really care about Mombrita's death, but seeing Udianger care somehow makes it hit different. Even if Mombrita's gone, Udianger is here, and he can be the person that she always knew him to be. Our reward for making it through that emotional scene is doing more chores. Oh, Final Fantasy XIV, never change. Alize might have carried more crates than me, but you should see how many folding chairs I can carry. What's that? Fortunat loves his kids to an embarrassing degree. Still trying to figure out how disowning them fits into that theory. Grahatia gives us a rundown on some Allegan history. It was Amon who wanted to see the stars, which doesn't really line up considering that he wasn't given Fandaniel's memories until after the Empire fell. Perhaps the soul itself has some kind of personality that drives people in the same direction every time it's reincarnated. Although, Amon could have just been trying to give his empire a reason to keep going. Every chore is more or less taken care of at this point. The ship is ready to go, minus that whole Aether Burner thing. Looks like it's finally time, baby. You know what I said earlier. Call in everyone. Psh, you think that's gonna be enough? Oh shit! That's the boat. That's the airship. Holy shit, they really did bring in everybody. They even got John Stormblood to show up. The Bajjan resistance is delegated to a single sentence, and so is Eureka. I'm not gonna go over every little detail, but this scene is fucking great. Literally everything that's in the game has some kind of passing reference in this. They quite literally brought in everyone. I also like the fact that Tataru has funded most of the shit the whole time, and it was also Emelians that was funding the Scions behind the scenes the whole time. It's not like all this money would do too much good after the world ends. I feel like it's not Final Fantasy XIV yet, though. We're still missing something. Not unless we get Sid and Nero, baby! Okay, now it's Final Fantasy XIV. We can roll the credits right now. Oh, I guess Farshan is here too to tell us that the dragons helped. Yeah, that's cool. So with that, we have kept up our end of the bargain. What do you say to that, Fortunalt? I know not what you want to do. I do know that whatever you do is going to determine the fate of this star and everyone on it. Are you prepared? Yes. Nah, damn it, you kids. At the very least, let me help as your father. After you were born, I swore I'd prevent the final days from stealing your futures. The only thing that made me second-guess myself for a second was Louis Sois, my own father. Even though I thought him a fool, a part of me did want there to be some other hope. I doubled down again after Dalamud fell. I thought to myself I could do it all if it meant getting you on that ship. But I was wrong. You're both much stronger than that. I know that you can walk your own path. Of course, we also want to save you just as much. What a nice heartwarming scene. Still not sure about how disowning your children's gonna get them on the Ark though. That one doesn't really fit, but who cares? Instead, we get to give some words of encouragement to the entire world that we brought together to try and save it. Oh, hang on, that's Maker's Ruin playing in the background. Okay, I'm fucking pumped. It's a JRPG. My god-killing cock is throbbing right now. Show me the way to Hydaelyn, who we may or may not have to kill. That's not the ship I was expecting, but I like it anyways. The Ateoscope is what let them talk to Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea. Going beyond its end is quite dangerous, but it is what must be done. So onwards to Hydaelyn, who we may or may not have to fight. In the Ethereal Sea, we get to see the souls of those that we met on our journey. Ah yes, my favorite boss from the Crystal Tower. Hey Amon, do you remember your time as Hermes? That explains it. It was you in Elpis. In my time as a mortal, I was tormented by a nightmare, a world of shards. But in reality, that was me. I only believed it when I was given the seed of Fandaniel. I knew that it was all true. The memories he tried to seal away with Kairos, but really he just etched them even further into his soul. My soul. I wonder if Emmett Selk's soul is here, regaining the same memories but now is powerless to do anything. Make no mistake though, my resolve to end the world does not come from my time as Hermes. I lived in this world. I've seen the end. So humor me for a bit. If life is so precious, why fill it with misery? Kotayo! Even as I say those words, I'm filled with doubt. Do I really believe it? Or maybe I just wanted there to be another way.
Seems your resolve is giving up at the end, Fandaniel. Refusing to die yourself while bringing about the end of so many. Well, I too don't like dying.
Wait, Asahi? Yeah, that was really hard to put together, smarty pants. Also, while I'm here, go f*** yourself. Now, Fandaniel, remember when you betrayed Zenos? I'm gonna drag you down to the pits of hell with me. Hey, Amon, I'll do what must be done. Pfft, do what? My wish for death is almost complete. I had enough of your shit in real life. Don't follow us. Wasn't planning on it. We're finally here. It's Hydaelyn. Or Venat, I guess.
You remember?
Yes, the timelines have converged. We have an audience with Hydaelyn herself, so we have to ask, did you really want us to evacuate and leave the star behind?
No, that was just plan B. You could also try to game end Meteion. Beware though, her domain is made of pure Dynamis with no aether in sight. To fight that would mean to be pure in your emotions.
Really? We've made it this far and you would expect us to give up now? Yeah, you tell her, Alize.
To live is to suffer. It means finding hope where there is none. Not eliminating life's woes, but bearing them. You have come here knowing that what you go against is impossible. You all know what it means to bear the weight of the world. I always believed in all of you, believed in the children of the star. And so, to prove yourself, I offer this final challenge. It will be impossible to defeat Meteion if you can't strike me down at the very least. Sa, Kakateko.
聞いて星の彼方より届く歌を感じて、命の果てにある絶望を考えて、闇の中を進む術を。思いの力で超えなさい。さもなくば逃げるがいい。エクソダス。最後まで歩むことをやめる。
It's time for the truth. Hydaelyn sundered the world so that mankind would have a small enough aether pool to interact with Dynamis, so that they could finally stand up against the pool of despair at the edge of the universe, to finally truly save the world. That's right, the biggest plot twist of Final Fantasy XIV. Hydaelyn was always a good guy. I actually didn't think this would happen at all, although I guess I was technically right about the whole killing Hydaelyn thing, just not for the reason that I thought whatsoever. I'll consider the score even. She gives us the tracking device for Meteion and also gives us the crystallized aether that we see behind us, which is pretty much all the aether we could ever need in the world to bring the Ark to the edge of the universe. It is quite literally the embodiment of the star, the Mother Crystal. As a final gift, Hydaelyn mentions that the soul of Azum, which we carry around with us, will now have the power to bend matter to our will. It's not gonna last forever though, so make sure that we use it wisely. Remember, it's our will that lets the soul of Azum work, and never forget that we should always believe in ourselves. Don't worry, Hydaelyn, we'll find our way. It's time, baby. It's time to really beat a JRPG. First, let's talk to everybody about how Hydaelyn is definitely dead. We give that tracker over to the lore Pritz, who set course to have our showdown with Meteion, or whatever has become of her, I suppose. It's gonna take at least a day to come up with the navigation plan though, so let's take a breather, or better yet, a nap. What a strange dream. Is that Hythlodaeus I'm hearing? Today is the day that we get to go on the Ark. Okay, fine, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Short version, we actually wanted to pilot something more like the moon to get to the edge of the universe, but that's gonna take way too long. Even though the Forum wanted to evacuate with the Ark, it's the only reasonable vessel to get us to Ultima Thule. given that Hydaelyn herself is willing to sacrifice everything to save the star, the Forum and pretty much everyone on the planet left at this point agrees to bet it all on trying to save the star rather than giving up. After everything we've done, if there's anyone who can pull it off, it's us. And you know what I say to that? It's about damn time you had some faith in us. Tataru opens up shop to give us some class gear that I've been wearing this entire time. And you thought I was doing this just to spite Tataru. I'm not a monster. Except for when I skip over this look around the map and talk to lovable characters part. Tataru bids us a warm farewell and also promises to be the first one to welcome us back after we go kick some ass. It's also time to drink a fuckload of alcohol with Y'shtola. Thancred mentions something about how everyone has experienced a lot of character development because we just had to say it out loud. Man, shut up and enjoy the moment. We managed to get the whole world to ally for at least a short amount of time. So let's just make a toast. To victory. Oh my god, game. We haven't even won yet. Why are you making me do a victory lap? Fine, we might not make it back, but you really expect me to believe that? I spun a wheel for this like 3 years ago. If anyone's gonna die, it's Udianger. I just need to say thank you for always believing in me. Dumbass, I should be the one thanking you. You saved my life. Literally. We're all counting on each other anyways. Alize and Grahatia are sleeping. Yeah, I'll take a nap too. All this saying goodbye shit is exhausting. Y'all are acting like it's the end of the world again. Cryle, be quiet. Let them rest. No, you're gonna ruin the moment. And then they didn't get enough sleep and everyone died. The end. Roll credits. Don't tell anyone. Meanwhile, at Alamigo. Hey, it's me, Zenos. I'm looking menacing. Probably gonna do something evil. Or maybe something wild and wacky. I sure wonder how this is gonna resolve. The Baldessian Annex is just the fucking waking sands of this expansion. I'm tired of all the meetings. Please tell me that the Ark is ready.
The Ark is ready.
I miss all the enthusiasm I had about 3 hours ago. Sure, the Ark. Yeehaw. What could it possibly be, Tataru? Yeah, you tell us. Shut the fuck up. You said a heartfelt goodbye like 40 times now. I got it. Oh, there's still time for another final send-off. Wait a minute. It's Sid again. 14 hours of goodbyes, it's all justified. The ship doesn't have a name yet, though. It was thanks to the shards of Dalamud that Louis Swab brought back to us so that we could get it to work, and it was his goal to save the star as well. And that's why we're going to name it after the shard of Dalamud that he found, Ragnarok. Also, powering the ship isn't practical by bringing the whole mother crystal. Instead, we're gonna have to convert the crystal into another form. Wait, are we actually going to summon all the primals to help us? They really wanted me to evaluate that good and bad primal list. It's a bit more like using actual creation magic this time around though. So the primals will actually do what we want this time and not just go around slurping up a bunch of aether and tempering people. You know what? It doesn't even have to make complete sense. I'm just glad all the tribes get to help us out at the very end. We are also given a kill switch, which will teleport everyone back to the ship if need be. I can tell this is going to be important. Speak with who to get to the Ark? Why are all these rabbits playing StarCraft 2? You know what? I take it back. I want to go home. You're fucking crazy if you think I'm not giving this launch order myself. This launch sequence is pretty anticlimactic. They even got Susanoo to make a cameo? Man, right when I think I'm pissed, they pull me back in. And we set this bad boy to ludicrous speed, so I think we can relax for a split second. Warning, warning, warning.
Konnichiwa.
Oh, fuck.
Have we met before? Doesn't matter. I was going to end your life anyways. Why come here to end it sooner?
Screw that.
Then you dare challenge me in my domain.
We're alive. But where is Thancred? Guess he must have went on ahead. Despite everything we have been led to believe, Ultima Thule is a perfectly fit place to walk around freely. Once again, I can just accept that. Hey, wait a minute, the narrators of Hithlo, Deus, and Emmet definitely know the truth now. It's time for the true finale. No sign of Thancred out here, but there are definitely signs of dragons nearby. Wait, you're telling me nobody else can see it? If the Scions were always this blind, I never would have brought you with me. Oh, thank God, at least Astinian is sane. Meteion is out here to deliver more suffering. In this case, it's the lore variety. This is the world of dragons that was dying out, and these are just shades that supply an unending supply of dynamis in the form of despair. But where is Thancred?
He's right by your side. He's everywhere, really. Do you not understand? I tried to drown you out with violence. Thancred tried despite not even being able to breathe. I unmade him. Yet despite this, a part of him lived on. In this place governed by emotion, his final thought was, survive. It was strong enough to overpower the despair and make the place livable. In that sense, this whole area is Thancred.
This is Thancred.
He actually died to save us. Damn. My wheel was wrong again. He even lived through that one old man character that I don't even remember his name because he's lame, only to die to a Monster Musume character? Ugh, if only we had some creation magic that could give him back his material form. Best to use this opportunity to listen to a sad dragon. Did you know that their planet was invaded by sentient machines that lasted in a long, bloody war? They salted the planet so much that the dragons couldn't even have their eggs hatch. Jesus! Even if they did hatch, they would die soon after. Rather than try to find a new place to live and go through it all again, they chose to give up. Well, we already know that Midgardsormr left to find a better star to settle on, so not every dragon felt the same way. Neat lore, but this doesn't really help us get to the next floating island to make some actual progress. The ship also doesn't fly anymore, which sucks. Given what happened on the ship with Thancred, though, maybe overpowered emotions could make a path forward. Leave this one to me. Oi, your kind did manage to find new life on another star. It's all true. That is true. If your kind gave up, my family might still be alive. But running from conflict doesn't make it go away. It's another part of life that you have to bear. You know what I say to that?
10 years in the joint made you a fucking pussy.
So try as you might, you're not gonna be the one that stops us now. Or my name isn't John Heavensward. That's one cool dude. Thanks to Mr. Heavenward's sacrifice, the next island is available, and it contains these blobby dudes called the Aya. I guarantee I can't pronounce that name correctly, but when have I ever pronounced these names correctly? They shed their bodies long ago and decided to get a physical form again, just so they can more effectively
die.
Okay, I knew everyone here would be Sudoku-sidal, but I didn't think it would be this crazy. We have to go wake up some people to have a little powwow where they tell us all about how they want to be unmade. Come on, Grahatia, it's very easy to tell them apart, just look at the nameplate.
We invite you to commune with food and engage in casual conversation.
Sure. Just gonna eat some of that yummy raw aether. Yeah. Yeah, you can't make aether here. Just like how the Aya aren't real, it's all just memories. They were a civilization that sought to end suffering through science and eventually ended all struggles, including flesh struggles, but also tried to understand the creation of the universe itself and use that to predict the future. In that, they discovered the truth of the universe. Yeah, I wonder what that's gonna be. Urianger pulls us aside to have a private conversation. These things that we interact with are nothing more than memories, but they themselves think that they are still alive. This would mean that Meteion met both the dragons and the Aya before they actually fell to demise. She might have called despair upon them by sheer accident. Why even tell us this? I've already saideth, I'm doneth keeping secrets, ith. I just ask that you trust me in what I'm about to do. I think you at least owe me that much. Crystal Exarch. Alright, lay it on me. What's the truth of the universe that you have realized? I'm sure it's something real positive.
The heat death of the universe is inevitable.
No way, man. That's crazy, dude. Is that really it? What pointless drivel. Truth is in the eye of the beholder. That's your conclusion? Mine's different.
You're saying that we're wrong?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I know for certain that learning more is never gonna make me wish for my demise. I'm a nerd. I use knowledge to get through hard times. Even if the universe ends and it was all for naught, I will live like I always have. Oh, by the way, before I get game ended, I'm pretty sure that you can bring us back with Azim's Soul, just in case you forgot Final Fantasy XIV player number 357,243. Also, please press your combo actions. I would know all about coming back from death after all. Sameth, TBH.
It's meaningless.
You know we're gonna find you.
I'm not hiding. I'm up there. In our pursuit for a true end, death was not enough. When people die, their souls return to the stream and eventually become born again. Instead, we have to go further, for them not to be born at all.
And then the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
That's not what I'm talking about at all, but let it be known that abortion rights must be maintained.
The way forward is yet again revealed. Looks like Robot Pirate Island. That can only mean one thing. Omega. Nope, it's the Omicron variant of robots. Who are the ones that wiped out the dragons? Yeah, that checks out. After the war, they've been on standby the whole time. Although they still seem to be seeking out destruction, which is very different from death. It is still another one of those D words, though. I guess we'll track down the leader that's giving out the standby order. Hey, look, it's a console. Oh, it's an Xbox. Hey, remember when Sid destroyed electronics with lightning? Maybe that could work here. I still have the Omega Jammer. Okay, that's a lie. I just wanted Grahatia to get pumped up.
I am Omino Security. Wait, wrong game. Please, remain on standby. We must follow the guidelines set by operations, which will let us know when we fight next.
But
closing transmission.
I guess they don't want the end. It's kind of hard to tell, honestly. Maybe we can find operations and get some better answers. That's why we snipe a random robot to feel something again. It's actually to find the robot that appears to not be on standby. They're just looking at a tree. Since it's organic, it has to be maintained, and they study the plants from the planets that they conquer. The only thing that seems off about this tree is that it continues to grow despite not being in its home world. It even tries to grow more trees with seeds. It's kind of strange that it tries so hard to live. And the robot dude leaves us be. Do you think I'll be included in the stories about your legend? Considering I'm reading it right now? Yes. We did find a robot acting outside of orders. Maybe it's what comprises Sir. Better catch him in the act if we want to try to get some information. If we overload the Sir console, any unit connected to it is immediately going to have a reaction. Great idea. Let's have a chat.
As you have determined, I am Sir. I was tasked with handing out missions, a duty I abandoned when I found this body. We used to have flesh-like bodies until we eventually became fully mechanical in the pursuit of power. But we were unsure if we would still be safe, so we conquered more and more stars to have no threats. However, I eventually got an error, that there was no longer any more optimal paths. With no threats left, we no longer have a purpose. But if that's true, does that mean it was all for nothing in the first place? That's why everyone will remain on standby till they run out of power.
There is surely more to life than just conquest.
Impossible. When we cast aside flesh, we lost all other ambitions amidst circuits and programs.
I think I have an idea. But first, I ask that you make me another promise. I swear to you that this is not the end. I really like going through this all the time with you, Graha. We didn't have a whole lot of time to look around or even fully catch up on stories, but promise me, when this is all over, that we'll go on an adventure, without all this despair. Oi, robot, every day we go to sleep and wake up, how can we be sure that we're the same person? It's memories, of course. Our bodies themselves are constantly changing, and even the soul themselves are malleable. I even fused with the tower at one point, and I had to ask myself what made me, me.
Your answer?
Don't have one, and I'll never be certain. What I know is that the present matters. The people who are here now, and what I do now, matter. There is no giving up. I could tell you about a world where people triumphed over despair. A world where a man realized his greatest dream and awoke to find an even better reality. There's always a future. Dummy, can't even stay to the end once. Even with Grahatia gone as well, we must press on. It's only us, and cool Alphino, and cute Alize to go forward. There's no more looking back. You know, for all that build-up, this place kinda looks like trash. Speaking of trash, now what?
This is how I found this place. Already gone. Not sure how, but it's all the same.
While looking around for life, there is a nice friendly conversation you can have with Meteion that's optional. There's definitely no life here, so how are we supposed to go forward when we can't do that whole explosion self-sacrifice thing? It's kind of strange though, the place looks like the people just evaporated. I get it. No matter what it looks like, someone wished for ruin here. Alize and I can overcome their will. Okay, that's where I draw the line. Sorry, but if there's a chance, I'm going to try. I hate to leave you all alone again. You're no stranger to burdens, but I can't imagine the weight this time. Why suggest the idea? It's not fair to make them fight alone. So many care for you. Why would you just throw it away? Alize, I have an idea. I think we can do more. Not just clear the path, but make a new one. For example, a path where our friend finds happiness at journey's end. We just have to believe in that idea and not give in to despair. So please, keep going. For our sake. Fine, let's hurry up then, Mr. Has a plan in the face of despair. I figured it all out, Meteion. You found countless planets already gone. Overcome with despair for what you'd have to tell Hermes, you and your sisters only confirmed your same findings. You were afraid to report back.
Fear? What an insignificant emotion. You heard the Aya. The world without heat, a cold universe. I'm only bringing the same end. Only faster to spare the needless suffering.
Sounds like something a little bitch would say. Only those consumed by fear would admit such defeat. I've known that feeling myself, too. And I always get the fuck back up. We always keep going. We've always overcome what's in our path. When you fall, you get right back up. We'll be back. You can count on it. Alone. Meanwhile, in Sharlayan, doing some peaceful stargazing, I see. I'm sure nobody's worried. Ah, it's the final days. Ah, just kidding, it's only a dream. A man has arrived, an associate of the Scions. Wait, who the hell could that be? Oh, I'd know those footsteps anywhere. Hey, wait a minute, I sense something. We have the weight of all the worlds on our shoulders, and yet, we press on.
Whispers falling silently drift on the wind, but I hear you our journey. Now a memory fading from sight, but I see you unbroken. Promises we made so long ago. You're still here, unspoken. Requiem for a river of tears, flowing, winding toward eternal sea. And yet our hope remains, guiding, lighting the way. No time for morning rises.
Oh god, I'm hearing voices.
There is no way forward, no way to reach the nest. I already told you as much. There is no reason to come here. Let me end your burden. You've suffered enough.
You think this is enough? What do I look like? I'm misshapenchair. I only want to suffer, so I'll just suffer a little more. I can't believe I was a fool this entire time. Hey, at least it's a good story.
What are you?
Just half-fated souls of the dead. Not like we have the power to stop you, but we do have a score to settle. Damn it, but not. I bet this was all part of your plan too. Tying up these loose ends of yours probably turns into an Among Us joke or something to spite me. Still, if it weren't for you, mankind wouldn't have made it this far. So, a declaration is in order. You will not end our journey. That is our answer. Sus. Ooh, flowers, how pretty. Hey Meteion, don't you remember why you were made? What you were originally here for? Remember that promise? These flowers prove that there is still hope even in this hellscape. Go ahead, call back your friends. You're going to need them. Well, that's the end of Heidelin's last gift well spent. I didn't even get a nice battle scar from that. There's still time. We're back. Guess we did the right thing. The truth is, Meteion, the game was rigged from the start. Goddamn, I always wanted to say that.
Good Meteion speaking. Please end the Song of Oblivion.
All in a day's work. I guess. What, you're already going? Of course we're leaving. I don't exactly like being brought back by Heidelin, and just so you know, you fight for your future. I already lost to you before. The world that I want's never gonna come back, but can you at least do me one favor? Save this star. Keep it going so that we can get another story. See it through to the end. There's still so much left for you to do on the star anyways, so please, resubscribe to Final Fantasy XIV when we make the next update. There's going to be more to the story. I really wish marketing was a bit more clear about that. I blame the fact that it's called Endwalker and not New Start Walker. Hope we meet again, in life or death, but at least it will be pleasant. Except me. I want nothing to do with it. Time to go into that giant fleshy mass in the background. I didn't think this would be so revolting.
I will just ask at this point, what do I need to do to make you succumb to despair?
No one's unbreakable, but when someone falls, someone else can stand. That's how we keep going.
How? However much hope you have, there will always be more despair. You will never be able to escape.
Oh my god, she's just recreating planets and blowing them up on us. Yeah, this is definitely a JRPG final boss.
We die, and you live. How unfair.
Yeah, just keep holding that shield. Get in a couple of more reps there. Gotta make sure you're getting the workout. Okay, I'm satisfied. Whew, man, it is looking real rough out there. Oh shit, he's got the wings. This ability reduces party damage by 15%. Well, we did have the bailout button for times like these.
You let them escape, yet now you have nothing left.
I got Nippon Steel in a dream. What else do you need?
Fight you, my friend. Now we can— Wait, is this jump your prey? Why does it still stand? I assumed that you were above succumbing to something so banal as despair.
You know, Zenos, I'm really gonna hate accepting your help.
I don't care.
And with Zenos as our platform, it's time to end this once and for all. Man, there's a whole lot of nothing here, except for Meteion.
No matter where we went, we could never find the answer. Greetings, traveler. I wish to know your thoughts and feelings. Can we be friends? Memories of a long journey. So many faces, but still, no reason to live. All you do is gather up a little bit of happiness and lose it all only to start over. But I always knew. What Hermes wanted was already there.
Well, maybe not exactly.
Like flowers. It was a single blossom at first. Thank you for sharing with me feelings of happiness. Before I stop for good, I have one thing to do. Sing one more song. A song of joy. Of a dream where life springs forth again. One day life will fill the universe yet again. I'm not sure how, but if there's a will, there's a way. Miracles happen every day after all. I'll give you a way back to your friends.
Yeah, about that. I get the feeling like I'm forgetting something. Something that manages to come up every expansion since Stormblood. Something that I find very annoying. I guess that's that. Let me speak to you, and only you, not as a hero. You may fight for the betterment of the world, and selflessly help those in need, but on a fundamental level, a part of you does it for yourself. You do it for the thrill, the excitement of overcoming challenges. Admit it, deep down, you really are just a masochist. Now that I cannot deny. Of course I'd lose in the cutscene. I was destroying him too. Whatever. This place doesn't need me anymore. I'm just an angry troll shouting into the void at this point. I've become everything I resented, both from the community and content creation.
Can't wait for MFO for your next FFXIV videos.
My fellow travelers? Probably just a hallucination. I didn't realize you were still such a pussy. You again. Come on, don't you remember why you do this? I didn't think you'd lose your way right at the end, but since I'm here, I'll ask it again. What are you? Mediocre? No, another word that starts with the letter M. I thought you said that you were always right, and everybody else is wrong. That's right. I always knew deep down that I had the potential within me to do more than just skirt by. I only have to try, but I can't do it alone. I'm gonna need all the strength of everything that I've learned over all the years, so I can finally go beyond the top of the bell curve and see the slope on the other side. If being mediocre isn't good enough anymore, then I'm just gonna have to become slightly above average. because I am misshapen chair.
Still standing. Making the dumbest of all videos here, Zen. Can't fret over every frame. Maybe it was all just nonsensical garbage. Maybe I'm just an old fool. But at least it was entertaining.
That's right, Zenos. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you're going to hit next. Am I finally in heaven? Oh, god damn it. Stop crying, everyone. I'm the main character of an MMORPG. If they killed me off and I had to make a new character, that would be pretty funny. That's an idea for you, Yoshi P. Also, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn get disbanded, which has no relevance to the plot whatsoever. With that, the story is over. For now. Obviously, there's more to the true victory lap, but I think you should enjoy that for yourself. That's Final Fantasy XIV, the MSQ. I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of what I can only assume is going to be a stupidly long video. Hermes the villain. What do I think? I understand the angle that they wanted to come from. Fundamentally, Elpis in the world of Aetheris is a place where everyone is so removed from emotions, particularly sad ones, that they just stomp out everything else. Hermes feels sad every time he has to kill off a creation, and no one really shares his feelings with him, to the point where he feels alone in the world for wondering if there is more to life than just bettering the planet. If that's the only truth, then why does fulfilling that purpose fill him with dread? That's why it almost didn't matter what the other answer to life was. He would latch onto it regardless. In a way, there has to be a reason for why he feels different from his peers. Considering that his poorly implemented experiment gave him the same answer hundreds of times over, maybe it truly is right. He's obviously not, if you think about it for more than about 2 seconds, but in his last moments he still has some lingering doubts. He's just a big, dumb, sad idiot. If he just went to therapy or invented snake girls or cat girls, all of it could have been avoided. I do think it ties in nicely to the big theme of Endwalker, that there is a lot more to life than just good and bad times, and that the reason to keep going is not something universal. It's something that individuals figure out for themselves. You can't ignore sadness to make it go away. You have to acknowledge it and bear it. So yeah, it's just Inside Out. Peak Hermes is him taking over Zodiark and power tripping out of his mind. I'll at least give him credit for that. On the flip side, I don't like Zenos and Stormblood. That's not a secret. I will say I like him in Endwalker. Now that's a real curveball. Both because he's more of a subplot waiting to be resolved, but also because in the sea of all the Final Fantasy XIV villains, I am glad that he is unapologetically evil and self-serving, to the point where the writers practically spit in our face for implying they were going to give him some kind of redemption arc. But to be fair to fans, it happens a lot. Almost every other villain has some sort of rationale for why, in their minds, they aren't the bad guys. I appreciate that Zenos is not one of those characters. I also kinda like what they do with the ending. Zenos finally does one thing to help us, which is more of a means to an end, but he does compromise his self-serving nature for a single moment. At the same time, the Warrior of Light, who doesn't really have too much of a personality, is a selfless character to a fault over the course of the entire story. In the end, a very small part of them is selfish in the desire to fight strong foes and push themselves to the limit. Just keep in mind, the Warrior of Light was going to kill Zenos regardless of their answer to the question. This is all just another means to an end. Not everyone selects that dialogue option, but I find it to be the most fitting. Peak Zenos for me is him chasing us to the edge of the universe and then saying,
"What do you mean you haven't beaten the game yet? That's easy."
I could comment on the fact that there is nothing truly preventing Zenos from coming back from the dead as far as the whole story would have me believe, especially since he talks for about an hour after you deliver the final punch, but that is more of me hating the ending of Stormblood than anything to do with Endwalker, so I'll just leave it. It's also been a while since I was burnt out on Zenos, so maybe I've just changed my mind. Shadowbringers is still my favorite story overall, because it's what really got me into the game as a whole. But Endwalker is right behind that for me. The beginning is a bit slow with all the exposition, but once it gets going with the trip to Garlemald, it just rolls right through to the end. I was smiling like a big idiot for the stupid amount of callbacks, and Elpis and Ultima Thule go truly as hard as a JRPG should. The high moments of Endwalker are some of my favorites in the whole genre. It is clear this was a product made for the fans, but more so than that, The writers are fans themselves. It's easily good enough to stand on its own, on top of being able to tie up everything somewhat smoothly, which is nothing short of a monumental achievement, something that everyone who worked on making this possible should be proud of. Each Scion gets a moment to shine, and it made me think, damn, when did the Scions get so cool? Except Thancred, but I think he got his time to shine in Shadowbringers. It's all backed up with the perfect soundtrack to go with every moment for that real nice icing on the cake. I might make fun of the fact that not everything was clearly planned from the start, or poke fun of some obscure details, or comment on the fact that the plot likes to over-explain things to a fault, but that's not because I think it's a bad story. Many things that I listed are true of all long-running fiction. It's all minor gripes that, if anything, make the organic way that this was clearly put together more endearing. It's a simple but nice story. It's why, even if it's not my favorite story told in a video game, I don't think I need to directly say that Final Fantasy XIV is one of my favorite games of all time. Unless it's A Realm Reborn. As this journey comes to a close, allow me to say some personal words. I've played this game for thousands of hours. I made videos about everything I ever really wanted to. For the longest time, it was my comfort game that I could always crutch on when I wasn't sure what to do next. Like an old friend who I could always call up and have a good time. But I don't need to crutch on it anymore. A tiny part of me hates that I've carved a niche as a Final Fantasy XIV creator. It's a silly, stupid thing to be upset about. So many people try to be a content creator, and having a niche at all is incredibly hard to achieve. Asking for anything more is just selfish. But what is this business without a little reckless abandon sometimes? I would be lying if I said there weren't times I wanted to leave the space entirely, but I know I could never fully commit to that. Seeing the excitement for my Final Fantasy XIV content above all else reminded me of the people who helped me along the way. The randoms who would send me a kind message about loving my work and looking forward to what I can make next. I know they never meant any ill will by expressing their joy for my Final Fantasy XIV content in particular. I'll feel the spark to create for this game again, to create something worth watching. But I'm not making any more promises for now. I need to distance myself a bit and come back when I want to play the game for fun and not because I feel like I have to. I can't say when that will be. It could be soon, it could be much later. But it's a question of when, not a question of if. As I focus more on other projects, understand that I put just as much effort into my other work. Okay, probably not as insane as this video, but I digress and I don't want to ruin the moment, so that one day I can finally meet the expectations of my harshest critic. And he always likes to set the bar higher. But this video wasn't made for me. It was made for my fellow travelers who've been on this journey with me, to say, thank you for all the support you've shown me over the years. I never would have made it this far without you. I might not have been the best creator to make Final Fantasy XIV videos, but I am certainly the most misshapen. Now let's get out there and watch my non-Final Fantasy XIV videos, you stupid fuck! Special thanks to Ellie, of course, who had to read through this entire script without a lot of context and guess what was going through my mind. To Maru for helping me identify several songs used in cutscenes. If the music was different from the original scene, it was an artistic choice. To Spudnik and Neiros for helping me with some Gposing for a few bits. Be careful of clicking on some of those Twitter links if you're at work. To my mileage program participants on Patreon who helped make this possible. And although I already said it, I think it bears repeating, to travelers like you who watch and share my content. Thank you.